Welcome back. Time now for the Insider, and we welcome in our NBA insider, Frank Isola. And Frank, let's get right to the Knicks. Why didn't a deal get done today between New York and Minnesota?
Well, it sounds like Minnesota wasn't ready to make that deal. And Minnesota, remember, if they want Derrick Rose, they could always sign him outright this summer. And then you still have the option of trading Ricky Rubio. And that was really the two principles of the deal. So that one was out there for a long time. Maybe the deal was dead a couple of days ago because everyone kept talking about it, but it didn't seem like it was going to happen.
So now you look at the future of Derrick Rose here in New York. Everyone knew kind of it was a one-year shot, but how much of a lame duck now is he, and how does Jeff Hornacek handle him for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think that's a great point you bring up. To me, he's been a lame duck ever since he went AWOL. And he really hasn't been the same player. He's not happy here. He's not happy playing in the triangle offense. You've never been out of really Chicago, except for that, 8 months he spent in Memphis. He really never been out of Chicago for that long. He's not happy here. I think he would have been happy being reunited with Tom Thibodeau and some of those other coaches that are on that staff were with him in Chicago. It's a little bit closer to Chicago, so he's not going to be happy. I think Jeff Hornacek's in a really tough spot because I think he has a lot of unhappy players in a losing locker room.
Now, most of the rumors before the last week here surrounding the Knicks were about Carmelo Anthony. He, of course, has 2 years left on his contract. So why won't we go through this same soap opera around the trade deadline next year and the year after that?
Well, I'll even beat you to that one. I think we're going to go through that soap opera right around draft time because that's really the next time where teams start to make moves. And you usually see much bigger moves right around the draft. Remember last year, the Knicks traded for Derrick Rose the day before the draft. So that's when these types of deals like Jimmy Butler and Paul George and maybe Carmelo Anthony. But as you know, it still comes down to whether or not Carmelo wants to waive that no-trade clause. But I would think if the Knicks don't make the playoffs this year, it looks like they won't. That'll be 4 straight years. You saw what Chauncey Billups said, that he's telling Carmelo, you're wasting your prime years in New York. So I think we'll start to hear about this once again in June.
Obviously, the no-trade clause that you mentioned is a big card here in this, but moving forward, will Phil Jackson build this team more around Carmelo or more around Kristaps Porzingis?
Oh, you want me to answer what Phil Jackson's doing? All right, you just put me on the spot because I have no idea. I'm not so sure Phil Jackson knows what he's doing because the Knicks seem to switch it up. Clearly, they were in a win-now mode with these moves that he made with Derrick Rose and with Tim Noah. So I don't know what's going to happen during the offseason. I think if they're smart, you have to build. To me, you could still kind of build a team around both guys, but you do have to be thinking about Porzingis. And really, the key now for the Knicks during the offseason would be to get a point guard. And there's a lot of good ones in the draft. And to me, that's why I think you're better off at this stage tanking to try to get as many lottery balls as you can. But the Knicks have enough talent where they could kind of hover around where they are right now, which is in no man's land. Not good enough to be a playoff team, not bad enough to be one of the worst 5 teams in the league.
Frank Isola, our NBA insider, thanks a lot for joining us with some time here at the end of the NBA trade deadline. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.